This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
Telecom Limited receives certification from IBBM. Government urged to carry out census next year. And first female acting secretary for international trade and investment. Good evening, you're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. Telecom Limited has accomplished a huge milestone achievement as the state-owned company received its Certificate 9001 to 2015 by the Institute of Banking and Business Management today. This certification now enhances Telecom Limited's management system and workflow to be of global standards. This is the first of its kind for a state-owned enterprise and an important initiative undertaken by Telecom Limited.
Okay.
In a significant ceremony today, Minister for State-Owned Enterprises William Duma, members of the Telecom Board, flanked by Chairman Cedric Rondoke, Telecom Limited CEO Amos Tepi, Professor David Kawanamur from Kumul Consolidated Holdings, and the management team of all telecom subsidiaries gathered to witness the presentation of Certificate 9001-2015 by IBBM to Telecom Limited. This certification will now enable Telecom's workflow to be efficient and more productive henceforth. According to Telecom Board Chairman Cedric Rondoke, this is a milestone achievement by Telecom Limited.
On this occasion, we are going to witness a sentimental journey, if I can say this way, where Telecom has never been put through this process, the quality management systems, which is a very tedious process that you go through in terms of how you manage the business.
Telecom Limited CEO Amos Tepi, alluding to Mr. Rondoke, further said this change is imminent and this is a step into realizing change within the organization. Moreover, Mr. Tepi highlighted some changes that Telecom is embarking on moving forward.
But also we're looking at what we call our system, technology system, which is network system. We're looking at 27001, that is also world-recognized system we have already done, and we're working on it now. We'll complete that by next year. So that is not a certification we will be looking forward to.
An immensely proud Minister William Duma, responsible for all state-owned enterprises in the Marape Rosso government, spoke highly of the board, management and staff of Telecom. He further encouraged other SOEs to follow suit. Minister Duma explained that more women will be appointed into the SOE board to guide and monitor the operations of state-owned enterprises in the near future.
You will, over the course of the following year or so, notice a number of big changes in the way KCH has been able to do its businesses. And one of the things that we've started is to ensure that women, who are very important members of any society, take a major role in the way our companies are run. You will see an increased level of representation on the boards of our SOEs.
PNG's locally owned telecommunications company, Telecom Limited, will now have a qualified world-standard management system in place to guide its operations and workflow. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
With many comments made regarding the population growth in the country, the PNG National Research Institute, or PNG-NRI, has encouraged the government to make sure that census is carried out in the first half of 2023. Director for PNG-NRI, Dr. Osborne Sanida, says to make planning for the country, the population data has to be known before all these decisions are made.
With current reports revealed by the United Nations Populations Fund estimating the total population of PNG to be at 17 million, PNG NRI Director Dr. Osborne Sanida says, according to NRI records, PNG estimated population stands at just above 9 million for the year 2022.
This estimate, the one that our researchers did, of 9.422 million, is a difference or a growth of 29.5% compared to the 2011 figure. So between 2011 and 2022, according to our estimate, the growth was about 29.5%.
He says in order to have an accurate answer to all this, a census must be carried out as early as possible for the country.
Given the different population estimates, we need to have the population census done as soon as possible so that we can know the numbers, the actual numbers, or close to actual, as I mentioned, depending on the how they conducted the population. We can use that numbers, population numbers, census numbers, to make proper planning and policy and planning.
This will help a lot in terms of planning and policy making purposes, knowing the unemployment rates, employment figures, population density, and many more. Samantha Solomon, National EMTV News.
The 36th InfoFish Conference began today and will end on the 15th of this month. With approximately 2.5 million square kilometers of special economic zones, PNG produces between 150 to 200,000 metric tons of fish annually, making us one of the biggest fishing nations in the region. Minister for Fisheries, Jelta Wong, officially opened the event and said PNG is happy to host this important meeting as InfoFish plays an important role in the development of the fishing industry in the region.
Established in 1981 as a food under the Food and Agriculture Organization, InfoFish offers a range of services to its member countries, including expertise in aquaculture fishing, marketing and trade quality control, and dissemination of valuable information through numerous publicity, workshops, meetings, and conferences.
I am most pleased to have been given the task to officiate the opening of the 36th session of the InfoFish Governing Council. InfoFish, which started as an FAO regional project in 1981, has made a lasting impact on the fishing industries of the region. I am happy to note that as an independent intergovernmental organization, its range of services has in fact widened over the years to include important areas such as aquaculture fishing, marketing and trade, processing and quality control, including the dissemination of information through numerous publications, workshops, seminars, and conferences.
The National Fisheries Authority Managing Director Justin Ilakini highlighted the purpose of hosting this year's meeting.
It's like we are passing the budget and a work plan for the next year. And you will see that those that are representative at this Governing Council meeting are the senior government officials of the member countries. So that gives the very high importance of this meeting in terms of the work of the InfoFish in all the member countries. So as an outcome of this meeting, the work priorities of member countries will be identified and be confirmed, including the kind of budget and the kind of assistance that will be provided to the member countries over the course of the next 12 months.
InfoFish Director Shelin Anthony Semi said the focus of the meeting discussions will be on assisting both domestic and international markets post-COVID-19.
The member countries in the coming year, for example, at this meeting we'll be discussing the plans of activities for 2023 for the member countries. So now that we are just coming out from the pandemic and the borders are being opened, we are hoping that we can have more activities, training programs for PNG, particularly in developing maybe the domestic market, adding more value to the products that you're already having in the country. Also looking at how we can persist in the aquaculture development in PNG as well. So all the activities that will be presented or proposed for the work program 2023 will revolve around the needs of the member countries. So particularly for PNG, we are looking into trying to provide value-added products training, how to prepare these products. It could be even for the export or also for the local market.
The 3-day session will be attended by high-profile government delegates of the 12 TRIA from the Pacific and they are PNG, Solomon Islands and Fiji. Samantha Solomon, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National MTV News. A woman has made history by being appointed the first acting secretary for the newly created Department of International Trade and Investment. Jacinta Warakai Manua will head the newly created department, gazetted G942 on the 9th of December 2022, through the head of state. Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru also revealed that James Joshua will head as the acting chairman for the Securities Commission. Maru made the announcements last night in a small ceremony at the Gateway Hotel in Port Moresby.
A small but significant ceremony was held last night, hosted by the Department of Trade, Commerce and Industry. Gracing the event with their presence was the Vice Minister for Planning and Chuave MP James Nomane, Chief Trade Officer Richard Yakam, Chief Commissioner of Customs David Towie, and staff of the Department of Trade, Commerce and Industry. In delivering the keynote address, Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru expressed his gratitude to the Prime Minister James Marape for formally creating the Department of International Trade and Investment. In line with this, the formal announcement of the appointment of Jacinta Warakai Manua.
This evening it gives me great pleasure on behalf of our government to announce to the country that Jacinta Warakai Manua has been appointed the first acting head of department for the Department of International Trade and Investment. We're happy that the husband is here. The government has looked around and clearly felt among other potential candidates she was the best one in the country.
In addressing those in attendance, Mrs. Manua was humbled by her appointment and thanked the minister for his confidence.
Trade, of course, is an important tool for development. And it has been a journey in Papua New Guinea. I started off as a trade officer, a trade policy officer in the Department of Trade and Industry, and kept on moving between Department of Trade and Industry and Foreign Affairs. And of course, I've served abroad as well as a diplomat representing the Papua New Guinea government and, of course, the people of Papua New Guinea.
Mrs. Manua will hold the secretary position until a formal structure is approved and the position of a permanent secretary is advised for a permanent appointee to be the head of the new department. Minister Maru also announced the appointment of James Joshua as the new acting chairman for the Securities Commission, who is currently the director of the Market Supervision and Licensing Division of the Securities Commission. Mr. Joshua also promised to deliver on the work and aspirations of Minister Maru.
I would like to thank Minister Maru personally and also the government for having trust in me and appointing me to acting on this position.
Meanwhile, the outgoing chairman of the Securities Commission, Mr. Robert Salmon Minak, in a brief statement stated that the Securities Commission of PNG is in a better place now than it was 2 years ago. Mr. Minak says, and I quote, Mr. Joshua is an integral member of the team, initiated and progressed transformational and game-changer initiatives we have implemented and ongoing there. The responsible minister, Honourable Richard Maru, envisions the future trajectory for the regulator and the industry and has made a series of decisions accordingly. I find solace in the fact that the Securities Commission continues to be in seasoned stewardship. I am confident of Mrs. Joshua and Maru's capabilities to advance the industry to new dimensions. I thank Prime Minister James Marape for the opportunity to serve the people in this capacity for the last 1.5 years. End quote. Rocky Iso, National MTV News.
The PNG Defence Force Engineering Battalion, based at Egan Barracks in Lae, has received a 100-man's dormitory which was opened today. The building was funded by Australian Defence Force through the Defence Cooperation Programme. The opening of the dormitory was officiated by Australian High Commissioner to PNG, John Phillips.
PNGDF Engineering Battalion Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel John Wani thanked the government and the people of Australia for investing in this project. The building took approximately a year to complete, with construction companies and other subcontractors, including members of the Engineering Battalion, assisted in the construction phase of the project.
6 CNJ captain joiner, L3 certification, as certified placement, 3 electrical with level 1 certification, 4 plumbers with level 2 certification. This will continue on in the logbooks until they receive level 3 and they become.
Alluding to Lieutenant Colonel John Wani, PNGDF Commander Major General Mark Goyner thanked the Australian Defence Force for the time and funding committed to see the full completion of the dormitory.
Through the Australian Defence Force, that they have given their time and their funding to support us in constructing this building for us.
Australian High Commissioner to PNG, John Phillips, said Australia is always ready and willing to assist PNG, especially in priority areas.
As partners of Papua New Guinea and as PNG's Defence Force, it's important for us that we listen to your priorities and understand how best to support you.
The 100-men's dormitory consists of 50 rooms, living facilities including kitchen and dining area, office space and storage, off-grid power supply with an 80-litre water storage with 5 ablution blocks and a laundry area. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
Over the years, there has been little to no budget specifically set aside for the refurbishment and rehabilitation for a lot of our state-owned properties, which include offices that are held at diplomatic missions that are established in various parts of the world and residences of heads of mission. For the first time, the Marape government has announced a facelift of 6 million kina for Kundu Jakarta, the official embassy in Indonesia. Separate funds will also be allocated for our diplomatic mission in the US and Australia, which was confirmed by Foreign Affairs Secretary Elias Wohengu.
The 2023 budget handed down by the Marape Rosso government has seen the largest allocation of 120 million kina going towards the Foreign Affairs Ministry. According to a statement from the Office of the Foreign Affairs Minister released last week, this demonstrated the commitment of the government to transform all missions abroad. This was confirmed by the Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Elias Wohengu.
Some consultations between the Ministerial Economic Committee, chaired by the Treasurer, and the President, the Deputy Prime Minister as well, and the Prime Minister in the background giving his full blessing and support to the plight of PNG foreign missions and posts to see whether we can try and rehabilitate those missions and those posts, the accommodations and the office. So an amount, some funding has this time been committed.
Secretary Wohengu also revealed the other missions that will also get a facelift with Jakarta.
Some of the assets that we own, some of them, if sold, would be fetching more than what we're actually expending, the assets themselves. So we're looking at Washington, D.C. We have a property that we bought for $1 million US dollars at that time by then Ambassador Mac Taylor. The property is now valued at $16 to $17 million. If we refurbish it and rehabilitate it, it could be worth more. We will be also expending funds for Kundu Jakarta as well. We own about 3 to 4 properties there.
In Canberra, we own 3 to 4 properties, and Canberra will be one of the missions that we will rehabilitate.
Mr. Wahengu has stated that besides the funds allocated for next year, he was assured by the Ministerial Economic Committee that the government would give more money in 2024 to refurbish all foreign missions.
I am assured by the Ministerial Economic Committee. I am assured by the fact that the Treasurer has given his undertaking. The government has given the undertaking that they will give us similar amount of money in the fiscal year 2024, and we will continue on with refurbishment, rehabilitation of the remaining missions as well.
The Foreign Affairs Secretary Elias Wahengu says some of Papua New Guinea's properties housing its foreign missions can be sold for a hefty profit as the government looks to renovate many of its aging infrastructure. Rocky Iso, National MTV News.
Member for North Fly James Donald is urging his people to be more involved in agricultural activities. He says people must not depend much on the government and Oktedi Mine in terms of financial support. Being involved in agricultural activities will be significant for self-sustainability. He made these statements after meeting with the board members of the North Fly District Development Authority in Kiunga recently.
We need to invest in agriculture as soon as possible. That's why we say next 5 years agriculture might come on. We've started already, we are continuing next 5 years. Those of you, I made a media statement recently. We want to do all these big things, but one issue holding people behind, ground issue. Very, very difficult. Everyone in both program. So where do we get? You customary land, Papa ground, Samba highway, or wherever, free map ground, where you open him up, come to play with the government. We will work together and let's target and keep together.
The National Capital District City Hall officials are disappointed over the act of total disrespect for public property, in particular the arrangement of Christmas lights in the city. Christmas decorations installed around the city by the city authorities have been targets of vandalism lately.
NCD's city manager Frank Ravu was angered by the inconsiderate act by individuals who do not appreciate the efforts of the Commission in bringing the spirit of Christmas to suburbs around the city. He said the actions by the individuals are uncalled for.
Try to go and destroy public property, in the sense the Christmas lights, is uncalled for. And I strongly condemned.
The Christmas lights at 9 Mile, Tarama, Sir John Guy's Drive roundabout and the Courts roundabout were cut in parts and stolen from the locations. Mr. Ravu said the lights have been shipped in from overseas and it is quite costly to repair and replace them.
I'd like to appeal to everyone, every citizen, whether you're a child, a youth, an elderly person, a working class person. Please take responsibility.
Mr. Ravu is calling on the public to be responsible and to look after public properties, especially during this festive season. Cynthia Maku, National MTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.2765 $0.4067 Australian dollars, $0.2550 euro, and 37.64 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copper closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher. Copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National MTV News. Moving to overseas news now, Fiji is due to hold a national election tomorrow, and the country is in an extremely strict campaign lockdown.
Fijians are expected to vote tomorrow in a crucial election for the Pacific country. But polling booths won't be awash with party colours and campaign flyers like we're used to in Australia. A strict blackout period has been in place since Sunday, meaning political parties and supporters are completely banned from campaigning. That means no flyers, banners or even stickers can be displayed anywhere in the country until voting ends. Political parties and candidates have even been forced to deactivate their social media accounts and delete any promotional material online. We've been told that the restrictions are in place to allow voters to have space around voting time. The election is being watched closely by the multinational observer group.
We're entirely neutral. We're here simply to watch what happens in the conduct of the election by the Fijian Electoral Office to see that everything runs smoothly and that Fijians have the opportunity to participate freely in their democracy.
Voting begins tomorrow with more than 350 candidates vying for 55 seats in Parliament.
Ukraine has drained $3 billion European war chest in less than 10 months, with European Union leaders vowing to top it up.
The European Union created the fund to support Ukraine's military efforts. EU ministers have now agreed to put forward around another $3 billion. It comes as Ukraine struggles to keep the power on after weeks of intense missile strikes. Parts of the east and south of the country remain under heavy fire. Ukraine's president has urged the group of 7 nations to help his government obtain additional natural gas and to supply it with modern tanks, artillery units and shells, as well as long-range weapons. Addressing G7 leaders remotely, Volodymyr Zelensky also called on Russia to make a substantive step towards a diplomatic resolution of the war.
Would be right in time for this Christmas to start a withdrawal of Russian forces from the internationally recognized borders of Ukraine. If Russia conducts a withdrawal of its forces from Ukraine, then it will also ensure a reliable end of hostilities. I hope you support this appeal of ours because it's in the global interest and part of our formula for peace.
2 police officers shot dead during an ambush at a property in Queensland. They were responding to a missing persons report when they came under fire from attackers.
Yeah, so as we know, the 2 police officers that were shot dead have been named, Constable Rachel McCrow and Constable Matthew Arnold, who were both under 30. I believe one was 26 and one was 29 years old. Both of them were stationed at the Tara police station and they'd only recently commenced their work as police officers within the last 2 years. They were stationed at Dalby originally until they moved to Tara not too long ago. The Police Commissioner, Katarina Carroll, had an emotional press conference with us earlier today. There was lots of tears shed. You could really see how broken she and the rest of her police community felt. She walked through the scene earlier and described it to us as a miracle that anyone survived and that they really did not stand a chance at all. And here's a little bit more about what she had to say.
Unfortunately, this incident is a tragic reminder of the unpredictable nature of policing. Every day our officers face very real dangers while protecting their communities. I know the days and weeks ahead will be extremely difficult for us as a police family. To all our officers and their loved ones, please look out for each other.
National MTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sport. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Southern Nines League tournament is back again this year after 2 years of absence due to COVID-19. And today was the last day for club registration. The committee has so far registered 32 clubs and is looking to host a maximum of 64 teams for this season's competition. A team managers meeting was chaired by the tournament's president, Ivan Ravu, to discuss the registration requirements of club members at the Grand Papua Hotel, downtown Port Moresby.
The 5 days Rugby League Festival will commence competition for the 2022 season on Sunday the 18th to Thursday the 22nd of December and will be staged at the Santos National Football Stadium. The tournament held a meeting to brief the team managers on the registration requirements and deadlines as the game is 4 days away before the official kickoff. Present at the meeting were team managers, Southern Region 9's officials and club members. The tournament will see participants come from within the city to the Motuan coastlines and to the mainland of Western Province. The underlying purpose of this tournament is to bring together the people of the Southern region through this 5 days Rugby League Festival. This was highlighted by tournament director and founder Ivan Ravu.
It's targeting the players from the rural Southern region, where teams from the villages come in. There are some teams from the city, teams from Motokoita, to come in to participate in a 5-day tournament. We have a lot of other motives behind it. It's trying to build a network friendship with the villages along the southern region.
Total of 32 clubs have been registered so far. The registration deadline is today, the 13th of December 2022, as alluded to by Mr. Rabu.
Tournament will start on Sunday the 18th, which is this time next week, and it runs for 5 days. We play the preliminary rounds on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Then the playoff for the top 32 will happen on the Wednesday, and then the grand final on Thursday.
The tournament official draw will be out by the end of this week. The official kickoff will be at the Santos National Football Stadium on the 18th of December 2022. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Team Oro Athletics Club, consisting of 7 athletes, did very well during the 61st PNGA National Track and Field Championship, hosted over the weekend at the Sir John Guy Stadium.
In the boys under 18 800 meters final, Daniel Kerahu was second, and in the 200 meters, Zebedi Orotu was third. While in the open women's 3000 steeplechase, Esme Isoro Ambo came second. And in the 1500 of 3000 steeplechase, Ray Kumala Heru was third. Team Oro President Colin Otoha said all these athletes are newcomers from Sangara, Sohe district and first-timers to attend the national championships in Port Moresby. Otoa went on to add that it was surprising to see 2 of the female runners, Isoro Ambo and Heru, putting up outstanding performances despite running the track without shoes. Otoa said Team Oro is proud of their performances and that indicates their commitment and preparations for the championships. Otoa pointed out that these are local raw talents from Hohorita village going out there on the bigger arena to experience and expose themselves against other top athletes. Team Oro is rural-based and aims at developing up-and-coming athletes in Sohe district and Oro province, but funding is their greatest challenge. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. Final preparations and training is underway for the Australian Dolphins team, the head of the World Swimming Championship swimmers, including the world's best from around 170 countries, will be competing in the short course event. And among them is Commonwealth Games medalist Sam Williamson. He says he can't wait to be competing on his home turf.
Really just trying to maintain all that momentum from Birmingham, and I guess, every mate's different, every mate's got a few different people coming, so you can't really control what the other 7 blokes in the pool are going to do. You can only really control what you're doing, but yeah, just really trying to maintain that momentum that I started in Birmingham and just hold on to that for as long as possible. I think I speak on behalf of all the Dolphins when I say we're all incredibly excited to be representing Australia, and especially on home soil. I think me especially, it's no secret that Melbourne's definitely suffered the last 2 years. Like, my grandparents haven't been able to come watch me swim, so I'm just over the moon that Nan and Pop can come and see me swim.
Australia has beaten the West Indies 3-0 to take the Test series at the Adelaide Oval.
And at 99, the West Indies will resume their second innings at 4 for 38, needing 459 more runs to win. Scott Boland took 3 wickets, all in the same over for Australia last night, to put the home team in complete control. Boland says he felt good as soon as he got the ball.
I felt really clear, even from ball 1. Which isn't always the case when you're bowling, but I just felt like I had a really good lead in. I felt like I had a good bowl in Perth at the whacker there and in the nets, and then I felt like I bowled really well 2 days out from the game in the nets here in Adelaide, so I was pretty happy with how the ball was coming out.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report for the next 24 hours is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Now we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms. Daru and Kerema, showers and thunderstorms. Alatau, few showers. Popondetta, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms. In Momase region, Ley City, few showers and thunderstorms. Medang, some showers and thunderstorms. Wewak, cloudy with some showers and thunderstorms. Vanimo, cloudy with some showers and thunderstorms. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, few showers. Kavieng, cloudy periods with brief showers. Kokopo and Rabaul, few showers. Kimbe and Buka, some showers and thunderstorms. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City, cloudy with few showers and thunderstorms. Mendi and Wabeg, cloudy with some showers and thunderstorms.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Tuesday, the 13th of December 2022. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.